Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Today in this video we will do a concept under the heading post-colonialism. It is post-colonial literature and we will know about the Orientalism concept by Edward Said, which is a very important theory of post-colonialism and part of Delhi University semester 6, paper 14, that is post-colonial literature. Let us proceed to our video now. Please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel and provide your valuable feedback in comment. Let us know about Edward Said now. वो एक पैलेस्टीनियन बॉर्न अमेरिकन प्रोफेसर और स्कॉलर थे, लिटरेरी थियरिस्ट, बहुत ही फेमस एंड academician, and he wrote many books on literary criticism. Edward Said, who was born 1935 and died 2003, is considered one of the pioneers of post-colonial theory. There are two very famous works of him. One is Orientalism, which we will discuss today, and another one is Culture and Imperialism. And both are quite influential texts in post-colonial studies and cultural studies. In this book, Said analyzes and critiques Western treatises about the East that have served to not only represent but also create a certain idea of the East in the minds of the people of both West and the East. We were colonized, and colonization did end in 1940s from most of the countries, but still the impact was in the mind of the Western people, of those who colonized us. Ki these people of India, people of Asiatic countries are like that, and these are their stereotypical characteristics. So so-called ऐसी कंट्रीज को जिनको कॉलोनाइज किया गया था, उनको कुछ स्टीरियोटिपिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स प्रोवाइड कर दिए गए और उनको हमेशा उन्हीं कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के अकॉर्डिंग स्टडी किया जाता है. तो वेस्ट क्या करता है? वेस्ट ऑथोराइजेस सर्टेन रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द ईस्ट व्हिच रिमेन्स इट्स अदर. ओके, वेस्ट कहता है कि आई एम सुपीरियर एंड यू आर अदर. It is the power and intellectual authority that the West continues to hold over the East even in the post-colonial era when colonialism is ended, which is this is the subject of Said's critique. इसके लिए अब एक टर्म को समझना जरूरी है, Orient and Occident. Orient means East in Latin and Occident means West. Occident क्या होता है? Occident usually depict the Orient as primitive, irrational, violent, despotic, fanatic, and essentially inferior to Westerners. Occidents खुद को बहुत superior और Orients को बहुत primitive और irrational बताते आए हैं post-colonial era के बाद से. Let us understand this term now, which is our topic. Orientalism, what it is? Orientalism एक study है language की, traditions की of the people and the culture in Middle East. And these studies are mostly done by the people outside of the culture that is being looked at, and mostly the studies are being formed by the white Western men, Western people. तो Western लोग जब मिडिल ईस्ट की कंट्रीज को स्टडी करते हैं, उनके कल्चर को स्टडी करते हैं, स्पेसिफिकली उनको वीकर, वल्नरेबल और नॉन सिविलाइज्ड, नॉन एथिकल मानते हैं और सारी नेगेटिव क्वालिटीज उनके साथ एसोसिएट कर देते हैं, उनको प्रिमिटिव कहते हैं. दैट स्टडी इज कॉल्ड ओरिएंटलिज्म. एडवर्ड से जब अपनी बुक का इंट्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट करते हैं, देन ही गिव्स द रीजन 3 डिस्टिंक्ट but related definitions of the term Orientalism. Let us see. Orientalism is almost a European invention. Orients ने खुद को ये definition नहीं दी है. Orientalism is a way of coming to terms with the Orient that is based on Orient's special place in European Western experience. Most of the Orients were colonized and European had some experiences of them. उसी एक्सपीरियंस को जब represent किया जाता है in their countries, that is what we can call Orientalism. And Orient as the mirror in which Europe sees itself reflected and as something in opposition to which Europe defines itself. यूरोप जहाँ पर अपने आप को बहुत एडवांस कहता है, वहीं पर ओरिएंट्स को बहुत प्रिमिटिव कहता है। अपने आप को सिविलाइज्ड कहते हैं तो ओरिएंट्स को बहुत ही नॉन सिविलाइज्ड कहते हैं। तो अपना एक रिफ्लेक्शन, लेकिन in all the opposite terms, in all the opposite qualities. That is how they define any Orient. सी एडवर्ड सईद बहुत ही एक ब्यूटीफुल इंटरप्रिटेशन करते हैं कि ना तो ओरिएंट और ना ही ऑक्सीडेंट्स हमेशा से एग्जिस्ट करते हैं इसी डेफिनेशन के अकॉर्डिंग जो कि उनको प्रोवाइड की गई है। दे आर नॉट द फोर्सेस ऑफ नेचर, दे आर नॉट प्रोवाइडेड बाय द नेचर। व्हाट इट इज द फैक्ट इज दे आर बोथ कंस्ट्रक्टेड बाय मेन। अपने आप ही ऑक्सीडेंट्स ने खुद को सुपीरियर और ओरिएंट्स को इंफीरियर कहना शुरू कर दिया। And they said it with such a great conviction that everybody started believing it, even the Orients. Okay, the Orient has an entire history and culture of its own that has rendered it as a reality to the West. Orients की भी खुद की एक आइडेंटिटी, खुद की एक हिस्ट्री रही है जिसको बिल्कुल इग्नोर कर दिया by showing their own viewpoints by the Western people. तो वेस्टर्न लोगों ने सिर्फ अपना एक व्यू पॉइंट बताया खुद को सुपीरियर और ऑरियंट्स को इंफीरियर बनाने के लिए, और उनकी जितनी भी आइडेंटिटी, जितनी भी हिस्ट्री, जितना भी कल्चर एग्जिस्ट करता आया है सालों से, उसको completely इग्नोर कर दिया गया। So what we can say, Orientalism is actually nothing but just a Western style, Western way for dominating, reconstructing, and having authority over the Orient. If you make the other person feel that you are weaker, you are not as intellectual as we are, you are not as civilized, you are not as educated, you do not have the manners, you do not have the capability to do this or do that, the person will start feeling inferior automatically, and it will be quite easy to dominate that person. And the same thing has been done. Keep on telling them that you are not like us, we are superior, you are inferior, and obviously they will be able to exercise their authority. An Orient does not choose to be Oriental. एक Orient खुद जाकर नहीं कहता कि मुझे represent करो एक weaker section of society की तरह. Someone else defines and reinforces the stereotypes that come with being Oriental. Edward Said argues that the Europeans divided the world into two parts. Europeans ने इस पूरी दुनिया को दो parts में divide करके रख दिया, the East and the West. Or you can say Occident and Orient, or the civilized and uncivilized, educated, uneducated. There are so many boundaries. This was totally an artificial boundary, he said, and it was laid on the basis of the concept of them and us, theirs and ours. They are they, we are us. तो हम उनसे अलग हैं basically. That is the boundary which has been artificially defined. And the Europeans not only defined it but started generalizing it. Okay. For example, one person, two person, three person, even 10 persons of some Middle East country are not educated, not that civilized, are not able to speak English, are not so-called intellectual. Is it okay to generalize rest of the population as well? लेकिन यही मेन प्रॉब्लम थी बेसिकली. द मेन प्रॉब्लम arose when Europeans started generalizing the attributes they associated with Orientals and started portraying these artificial characteristics associated with Orientals in their Western world through their scientific reports, literary work and other media resources. किसी भी तरीके की रिपोर्ट में, किसी भी तरीके के मीडिया इन्फ्लुएंस में, किसी भी तरीके के लिटरेरी वर्क में अगर एक एशियाटिक पर्सन को रिप्रेजेंट किया जाना होता था तो दैट पर्सन वाज represented in the light of being non-educated, non-civilized, and from every manner, whatever the European is not, that was the qualification, the quality of a Asiatic person. ये जो जनरलाइज्ड एट्रीब्यूट्स है ना, ये आज भी नजर आते हैं लोगों के दिमाग में. ऐसा नहीं होता कि whenever we think of any Japanese person, we tend to think person must be associated with judo, karate or any kind of martial art. So these features can be seen even today. For example, the Arabs are defined as uncivilized people. Islam is seen as religion of terrorists. यूरोपियंस का जो जनरल पर्पस था वो हमें डिफाइन करना नहीं था, हमें नेगेटिव लाइट में डिफाइन करके खुद को पॉजिटिव लाइट में डिफाइन करना था. The most important use of Orientalism to the Europeans was that they defined themselves by defining the Orientals. Let us see the example. हमें डिफाइन किया गया लेजी, इरेशनल, अनसिविलाइज, क्रूडनेस, इन क्वालिटीज के साथ. दीज वर रिलेटेड टू द ओरिएंटल्स. एंड ऑटोमेटिकली इफ वी आर ऑल दिस, दे आर नॉट ऑल दिस. दे आर व्हाट? They are quite active, rational, civilized and sophisticated. Thus, in order to achieve this goal, it was very necessary for Orientalists to generalize the culture of the Orients. एडवर्ड सईद एक बहुत ही अच्छे कंक्लूजन के साथ इस बुक को एंड करते हैं. He concludes the book by saying that he is not saying that the Oriental should not make generalization. कुछ तो क्वालिटीज होती है ना, we can say that Indians are like that, लेकिन हमेशा नेगेटिव शेड में ही शो करना क्यों है उनको? ठीक है. और they should include the Orient perspective too. ऑरियंट्स के पर्सपेक्टिव को, ऑरियंट्स के व्यू पॉइंट को, जिनको डिफाइन किया जा रहा है उनके व्यू पॉइंट को तो इंक्लूड ही नहीं किया गया, which was wrong. And it is not bad to generalize, but creating a boundary at the first place is something which should not be done. कि एक बाउंड्री क्रिएट कर दी कि इस लाइन के उस पार वाले सभी लोग लेजी हैं, सभी लोग अनसिविलाइज्ड हैं, सभी लोग इरेशनल हैं, और इस बाउंड्री के इस साइड वाले लोग सभी एक्टिव हैं, सभी बहुत ही सिविलाइज्ड हैं, सभी बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट हैं. टू डिफाइन अ बाउंड्री, टू ड्रॉ अ बाउंड्री एंड टू स्टीरियोटाइप द थिंग फॉर everyone, each and every person of Asiatic countries was not something which should have been done. So thus, this goes on to show that even with increasing globalization and awareness, such bias, such viewpoints are still found in the mind of the people of developed countries. So that is it for this part of the video. You may join the classes to cover all the topics in detail. Thanks a lot for watching and best of luck for your exams. Please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel and provide your valuable feedback in comments.